$30, one fake return, and the whole system swallowed a lie that cost a person their family, their name, and their future. Parents group chat. The air in the supermarket's returns department was stale, smelling of cardboard and an old air conditioner. Riley sat behind the counter, scrolling through the endless list of items on the screen. Identical numbers, identical dates. Her fingers moved mechanically across the keyboard, but her mind drifted elsewhere. On the desk lay a folder of documents, a reminder of an overdue mortgage. Her gaze kept slipping back to the envelope in her bag, a letter from HR. Polite wording. Your promotion request has been deferred. Easier to read it as, you will stay where you are. She was used to being an invisible part of the mechanism. Smile on her face, stamp on the receipt, next please. But inside, fatigue was growing, the exhaustion of being furniture, underpaid and overused. Riley caught herself counting down the days until it all collapsed. To hold on, she invented small rituals. She jotted down in a notebook the times customers arrived, even their habits, as if this gave her some control over chaos. She believed if you gathered enough details, you could find a pattern and survive. The doorbell chimed. A man in a wrinkled denim jacket walked in. On his sleeve, an old patch, Coyote Audio. In his hands, a box with a child's tablet. Riley's hand moved automatically to the keyboard, but inside, she tensed. My kid's in the hospital. The gift doesn't work. I need to return it. The words sounded too familiar. Complaints, stories, tears. She had heard them hundreds of times, but that evening her attention clung to every detail. His laced boots, the chewed edge of the box, his eyes, as if hiding something. Riley didn't yet know that one signature on a return form would change her life. She only reached for the pen, convincing herself everything was under control. The next day, Riley opened the report. Among the usual return lines, one stood out, $29.99. Formally unremarkable, but she knew this was where her violation lay. At lunch, her manager called her in. The office was bland. Desk, coffee machine, blinds. Did the customer have a receipt? He asked flatly. I did, Riley answered. That was the end of the talk. He jotted a note in his pad, switched to a call. That evening, Riley received an automated corporate email. IN-482. Document attached. Status closed. At that same moment, a notification blinked in the group chat. Samir, IN-482 receipt number. If not, cover with comment. Riley, I'll add it now. Back at her desk, she opened the internal system. To justify the return, she needed only 3 edits. Change return type from without receipt to with receipt. Generate a random code for document number, and shift the purchase date back by 28 days. The system logged edit by user 10.4.19.31/1422. It all looked flawless. That same day, the department inbox got a newsletter. Thank you for your customer focus. Riley has been noted for attentiveness to customer needs. Colleagues in chat reacted with irony. Meg. Thumbs up, crying face, crying face. Lewis. Oh, we've got a new service hero.
No one asked questions. Riley closed the browser and looked at the empty cashier zone. No anxiety in her head. The forgery had taken less than a minute, and the system swallowed it without a glitch. All that remained were 3 altered fields and a line in the logs. She stayed until closing. In the Processed folder lay form number 482, neatly filed among the rest. It looked identical to hundreds of others, only she knew it was fake. Outside, the store hummed with air conditioners. Inside, everything aligned. Reports matched, the database updated. The boss was satisfied. That evening, walking to her car, Riley caught herself thinking it had been too easy. No scandal, no guilt, just a thank you email and sarcastic chat emojis. And in that simplicity lay the danger.
A week after the first correction, the system flagged another return. A man returned a toaster because of a strange smell. Riley clicked through the fields again. The forgery took less than a minute. Then it became frequent. Someone returned a towel set, too rough. Another brought back a toothbrush, claiming the flavor didn't suit. A man returned a pack of socks, saying just the left ones fit. A woman brought back a garden hose, too long for my yard. Riley checked boxes, rewrote dates, generated receipt codes. The documents stacked in the folder as neatly as tiles in storage. Soon, the return sums multiplied. The automated program issued a report. Loss prevention bot. Anomaly detected. Low significance. Risk level, green. In the RetOps group chat, Meg, green risk again from the bot. Samir, will we ever disable auto login? Riley saved the email in MISC. Each forgery felt easier than the last. The system didn't resist, management didn't notice, reports matched. Inside, she felt control, as if numbers became clay she could mold into any reality. Jenna, however, began keeping a small spreadsheet, return times, login names, and sums. She marked a pattern on Jenna's shifts and noted, "Need quick terminal audit." The file stayed in her personal folder, ignored. In the smoking area, colleagues discussed the return boom. Some said, probably discount promos. Others, the system's glitching. No one tied it to Riley. Evenings, she stayed later than anyone. On screen, another form. Product, hairdryer. Reason, too loud. Riley fixed the date, added a receipt code, and confirmed. The document joined processed. The system logged 10.4.19.21.37, all legal. She switched off the lights and looked at rows of desks. On one sat Jenna's mug, forgotten. Her terminal still glowed with auto login. Riley knew, if necessary, this could be a convenient exit. The chain of fake returns was turning into a mechanism, and it worked seamlessly. The returns department hummed on, buzzing lamps, rustle of receipts, beep of scanners. But the figures in the reports climbed too fast, and even the indifferent began to notice. Closest to the anomalies was Jenna. She sat at the next terminal, neat, precise, always by the book. One break, Riley overheard her phone call. "Mom,
Once it's approved, we'll send you to the clinic. Just hold on a bit longer." Her voice shook. She quickly hung up before anyone could hear more. Later, Samir approached her. He bent down and whispered, "Always log out. Auto logins a trap." Jenna nodded, but minutes later stepped out for a smoke, leaving her terminal open. Riley used it. On screen, Jenna_R/active. Saved templates already filled the fields. Type, with receipt, period, 28 days. Riley only changed product and amount. The printer spat out a document under Jenna's name. Everything looked routine. Only now, Jenna was part of the scheme without knowing it. The investigation began officially. Security staff arrived, suits, folders, cold faces. They set up temporary cameras, gathered reports, requested logs. In the lobby, the employee screen looped the corporate clip, Integrity Week, Day 3. A cheerful narrator declared, "Honesty is the foundation of trust." Subtitles crawled, "A system error is also a test of your honesty. A form without receipt is the road to victory." Staff averted eyes, but the contrast with the real probe was absurd. All evidence pointed to Jenna. Logs matched her username, Jenna.R. Return times aligned with her shifts. Cameras showed her present, but the screens hit dead zones during key minutes. The papers stacked neatly, as if the system itself was writing the case. That evening, Samir brought a printout to the manager. "Here's the match between operations and those dead zones, see?" The manager glanced, pushed it aside. "We'll backlog it. Priorities elsewhere." Samir pressed his lips, silent. Meanwhile, Jenna was called in again. "It wasn't me," she repeated. "I didn't do these. The database shows your login. Logs confirm." Riley sat nearby as witness, her voice calm, short comments, presenting shift reports, pre-prepared notes. Days later, leaving work, Riley headed for the parking lot. In the window of Coyote Audio, she saw the familiar denim jacket. The man with the patch held his son's hand, a healthy, laughing boy. In his bag, new speakers. "Oh, it's you," he said. "You managed that magic return for me. Thanks again." Riley nodded, walked on. Inside, a pang. There had never been a sick child. For the first time, she allowed herself an excuse. "I was tricked first. Now it's a game without rules." Next day, the committee gave its decision. Suspend Jenna pending review. The substitution cemented in numbers. The system had its culprit. By spring, audits tightened. Security demanded new reports. Accounting printed fresh tables. The department thickened with tension. Everyone awaited the break. The decisive moment was a trivial return. A client brought back a toothbrush. Flavor didn't suit. The document entered under Jenna R. Date matched her shift. The camera again cut out. That absurd transaction became the final nail. In the conference room, auditors spread the papers. One pointed at the line, IP address match. Riley froze. It was hers. For a second, the trap seemed closed. "Wait, it's a shared gateway," Samir noted, handing over his log file. The manager didn't even glance. The bot marked it low significance. Case closed. The talk shifted back to Jenna. She paled, tried to argue, but the documents shouted louder. By evening, the verdict was ready. Her suspension became final. Then her life unraveled quickly. 1. Job interview rejection. Does not meet corporate standards. 2. Court summons. Ex-husband demanded asset division. 3. Move to a small flat on the outskirts. Marriage over. Neighbors turned away. Meanwhile, the department got a new newsletter. Congratulations to Riley for reducing customer complaints. Attached, certificate and mugs with logo. Integrity, our DNA. Colleagues laughed but pinned the certificate on the entrance board beside corporate posters. That night, Riley sat at her computer. In the processed folder lay the toothbrush return form. The printer waited for new data. She calmly typed, "Product, hairdryer, reason, too loud for the cat." The paper slid out, perfect as ever.
A year later, the returns department was completely renewed. Old stories forgotten. In the lobby hung new posters. Integrity Week 2.0. Honesty begins with you. The annual financial report listed $127,540 losses. Comment: anomalies recorded. Investigation closed. Riley was transferred to a branch on the edge of town. In corporate mail, her name appeared on the gratitude list for strengthening customer trust. On the honor board hung her photo, captioned, "Employee of the Month." She also received a pin reading, "Integrity Ambassador." Jenna now worked at a roadside diner, wiping tables, flipping burgers on night shifts. Her resumes unanswered. Court papers piled up. Evenings, she returned to her small flat, smelling of grease and cheap detergent. In the company archive, one document remained. Form number 482, return $29.99, archive stamp. Yellowed paper, faded ink, a neat line. One evening, Riley left work. In the parking lot hung Integrity Week 2.0 banners. A bit further, the Coyote Audio storefront smiled with a new ad. A man and child holding a tablet with the slogan, "Trust without a receipt." By then, Samir had already been moved to another unit. His overlooked note still sat in the archive. Check auto login. Riley walked past the window and toward her car. Form number 482 remained in the archive.